Everybody, and welcome to our first kind of live tutorial video thing here. And I want you to meet Lori Fudens. And Lori she's an incredible hairstylist. She styles the hair for a charity fashion show I do every year. And she's also, I call her a Redken specialist. But Lori, you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you're here today and your background.
Hi, Joni. Thank you for inviting me. I always love doing events with you live, and when you asked me to do this, I was really honored because sometimes right now we're still doing virtual, and it's no different than when I'm training a salon or working with hairstylists. It's just what we're doing right now, and we this is okay, and we're going to communicate and help people the way we can. So it's totally fine. I am a hairstylist. I work behind the chair. I work with clients with all hair types, all hair colors. I am a color expert, but I also teach for Redken. I do represent the brand, and I go out and I teach. But I'm also a salon owner, and I deal with clients compassionately through all of their concerns this year, just like many other hairdressers in the industry. So thanks for having me today. This is a fun topic. I love white hair, gray hair, non-pigmented hair, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome. So good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So have you how many people, or do you have experience in transitioning ladies to gray and silver?
So I do. And, it's funny because in the past 3 years, it's really gotten popular. But after people were shut down and there were lots of roots growing in and, people staying home, it became a huge, powerful subject of, well, how do I do this? Now I've already gone through the pain of not getting my hair colored for 8, 12, 16 weeks. How are we going to do this? And so this became a very popular subject. And actually, my friend Jack Martin, he was hair colorist of the year last year, and he specialized in that as well. So not only was it a huge topic for the clients, right? It also was for us as trainers or hairstylists who wanted to help the transition. I've helped many of my clients go from monthly color clients to no more artificial hair color. That doesn't always mean that they don't get anything done to their hair. Right? That doesn't mean that they have no more hair visits or, accentuating hair color. Sometimes we gloss it or we do something else. But yes, I've helped a lot of people through that situation. And I will tell you, no one person has been the same as the other person. Like everybody's different scene. So
exactly. Listen, you just said something about glossing. What is that?
Well, glossing is when we might tint or do like a process where it's non-ammonia, non-damaging, non-permanent, non-changing, but it's like a color mask that's super shiny on the hair and it lasts like 4 to 6 weeks.
Interesting. Because the reason why I ask that is because I see a lot of the ladies in silver hair foxes, commenting that their hair is drier and maybe not as shiny. And so that's something that someone with silver or gray hair could do, and it's not going to change the color, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't recommend doing it at home. The way to mix it and the way to formulate it to make it so it doesn't turn like purple or blue or gray or like a weird color is to have it done professionally. But a color glossing service or a color glazing service is what you would ask for if you wanted to go in and have it professionally shined up, make it more soft, maybe reduce some of the coarseness of it. That's the big problem that a lot of people have seen run into. And a color glossing or glazing service with a toner in it or with a tint in it is also an option. Like a professional would be able to guide you on that.
Interesting. I don't know. For some reason, I kind of had this idea that once I quit coloring, like that was it. I wasn't gonna have a hairdresser put anything on it in terms of color, but there are like enhancements, and I think that's pretty cool. What are, like, if I came to you, because my hair was super dark, and I know sometimes we have ladies with long hair that's dark and they don't want to cut it. I was fortunate. I'd always worn my hair short, so it didn't bother me to cut it short. But so what are some of the best ways to transition? How do you do that?
Yeah, and it's funny because every situation is different. Someone with really long hair and very dark hair, let's take the worst case scenario. Can we just do that first?
Yeah.
Because that becomes the hardest one to help, right? So one of my guests came in and she said, that's it. I want to grow all my natural color out. And her name was Lily. And Lily came in and I said, okay, Lily, well, I'll help you, but here's what we got to do. We have a couple of choices to make. And either you can just like do it the hard, long way, and it's going to take 2 years because all of Lily's hair was dark and
Mhm.
she had almost 100% gray. Now, here's what I'll tell you. Some people think they're 100% gray. They're 100% salt. And when they grow it out, they're not really. They're like 50% salt and pepper. And maybe in the front they're 100, but back here they have a lot of dark hair. So until they actually see that, it's hard to explain that. Well, you might not be like Joni. Like you might not be like totally
Well, but
and
even me, I've got some dark
yeah.
hair. It's not easy to see on camera, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And some people think they're all over white, and that's okay because that's all they see from here, right? We just have our point of view there. But when you see it grow in, there are ways to make it look all white. Like sometimes we do highlights, sometimes we do low lights, sometimes we do a color technique to make it look more transitional, like more even, so you don't have a big line, because no one wants to look like they have, a white road, a white track heading down the center of their
It's getting
brain.
longer and
I
longer and
know.
longer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants that. Yeah,
I think, it's fascinating. I wanted highlights. That's what my intention was, because my hair was dyed very, very dark. And bless her heart, she did her best. It was not you, unfortunately for me. She did her best, but I ended up way blonder than I wanted to be. And also, my hair was fried. So, kind of the reason I'm bringing that up is that I think, ladies, if you have long dark hair and you would like to maybe make your transition a little bit more seamless, I think you need to go to a hairdresser and ask them to show you people that they have transitioned to gray. Now, I did it before being gray or silver was a thing, was a fashion thing, was a style thing. And like I say, I don't fault her. I think she did the best she could, but I was not happy with the result. My hair was super blonde and super fried,
yeah,
and fortunately, I just kept cutting it and letting all the colors grow out. So, but I think you need to find someone who knows what they're doing, which is one of the reasons I wanted Lori to talk to you today. We don't let people sell in Silver Hair Foxes, but Lori's not selling anything. I mean, you can't do Redken unless you go to a professional stylist. So, really, I think it's a good point that they go to someone who's done it.
yeah. And
Who's
more importantly, what I recommend too is if someone out there wants to make that transition, or if you're in the middle of the transition and it's really like killing you and it's painful and it's like, wow, I can't stand this, find your hairdresser, do some research, talk to them, do a virtual consultation on your phone first, so you don't have to waste all your time going in their salon. Then, so that's step one, do a virtual consultation with the hairdresser. Step two, ask for a test strand. Oftentimes what a client will happen is they'll come in, they'll want this, but I'll say, you know what, let's test strand, then we know. And what we do is we take a section in the back and we actually test it out, right? Because hairdressers cannot always predict what that hair is going to do when you lighten it.
Yep.
Whether it's short or long, it doesn't matter. The
No.
longer hair is more difficult because this hair is older. Remember, this
Yep.
has been outside your hair for 1, 2, maybe 3 years. And everything you've done in that 3 years, that hair's gone with you. So oftentimes we test out the hair first before we charge you the hundreds of dollars and spend all day and you end up with hair that you don't like, you know?
Interesting. Yeah, great advice. I like that advice to test out your hairdresser and then get them to test out your hair. I like
Yeah.
that.
Ask for a virtual consultation. Okay, I'm going to write this down. Virtual consult. 2, ask for a test strand. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, and do your research. That'll really help you guys when you're looking for the right person to do it. And I brought some fun little props and swatches. We'll talk about this later, but I want to show you the difference of what happens when you're doing that, because it really is there is a thing that happens inside the hair when you go from the natural gray, right? Or if it's artificially colored and you want to go to the super light, because this is how light you have to be in order to be artificial gray. Just FYI.
Like no color, basically,
If
like
you only
white.
get to blonde, you're not going to be gray. You have to be super light. but some hair doesn't make it. It jumps ship and commits suicide. It's in the middle of the big old hair party, and they're in the middle of the blonde raver, and they just don't make it. They don't live through it.
Exactly. Now, since we're talking about this, one lady was saying that she kept spending money to turn her hair gray, and it kept going back to blonde. What might cause that?
Yeah. So if a stylist takes the hair to very, very pale, right?
I see.
Blonde. And then, can you all agree, like, this is blonde, right?
That's blonde,
Right.
correct?
This is blonde. I could mask this with some kind of gloss toner, glazing service. I could use something violet to get rid of this yellow, right? And I mean like violet, like a shampoo, a toner, or whatever. But when you put that on there, like something really violet, so like this is like a violet shampoo that I would use
Right.
if somebody wanted a little bit of masking. You've seen these, we'll talk about them later, but you put that on here, it is going to make it more of a tan or cool color. It'll naturalize it, right? But it won't turn it gray. It won't, because it'll naturalize it. And then when that washes out, this is what you have left again.
And I was going to say it washes out, because I remember in my teens, I had medium to dark brown hair, getting frosting done, and using it, and you exactly with a crochet hook, ouch, and we would use a toner to tone down the brassiness of the blonde. So, but the toner's not permanent, so that would come out.
Yeah.
Lori, have you found that when people's hair like eventually grows out gray, that it has a different texture?
Sure. Gray hair has up to 15 to 20 layers more than your non-pigmented hair. So gray is a word, right? So gray could be artificial blondish gray, or gray could be non-pigmented hair. Truly white hair is only found in people that don't have any more melanin in their body. Usually someone who's an albino, or truly white hair is very difficult to find, because that's no color in your system. That's no melanin. That's no paint in your bucket.
Right.
Like the paint in your bucket is water, clear. There's nothing in there, right? So that's truly white. Now, gray or silver often has to be created artificially. Now, if you're naturally gray, you can enhance it, right?
Right.
But true gray hair that grows out of the head will have up to 20 more layers of cuticle on the outside of it than a natural brown brunette strand. So a strand of gray hair, right, if you can see, might be about this fat, but a strand of regular hair might only be about that fat. You see?
Okay.
So there's a fatness about it, and it has that cuticles very, 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 very different with gray hair.
Okay, interesting. Do you recommend, and we can talk purple shampoo in a minute, but do you recommend for someone whose hair is naturally gray or silver, do you recommend different hair products, like different shampoo and conditioners for someone like that? And what do you look for?
Yeah, for sure. So it kind of depends on what shade they are when they start with, right? So just no different than when you're painting a wall or coloring art or doing a canvas. What you start with plus what you put on it is what you end up with, right? So it's not always what's in the bottle will turn what the hair, we know this, right? Because we've all made mistakes of putting something blue on our yellow hair. And what happens when you put blue on yellow?
Green.
Green, yes. And so I want to show you something, because it's very common that you might buy like a blonde shampoo or a purple based shampoo, right? Or you might buy one that's got some blue in it, right? So I want to show you the difference, because if you don't really look at it and read it when you buy it, and just to answer your question, for yellow hair, I recommend violet, because that's what counteracts it. But for hair that has orange and brassy, I recommend blue. So these are two different products.
Wow.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Like one is violet and one is really blue.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you pick the wrong one, you're going to get a bad result that's not what you're looking for. So, for example, I would never recommend this to, for example, this blue-based toning conditioner to someone with gray hair. Yet it has a very cool reflection on it. And for someone who doesn't know their products, they're going to recommend the wrong things, right? So this violet blue conditioner, it's a new one from Redken. It's just hitting the market this month. Just so you know, I know all the newest technology coming out, all the newest stuff coming out, but this is something that's coming out and it's wonderful, but it's blue. So don't
Okay.
let the color of the package change your eyeballs
Oh,
when you
yeah,
see
yeah,
this
yeah,
on the
yeah.
store. The next time you walk into Ulta or Sephora or your salon, don't buy this if you want to be gray. Does that make sense?
Yes. But so if I
So
put blue on
the
my hair,
violet one, Blondage, or they
yep,
have one called Gradient. It's in a gray bottle
and
and
it's
it's
great,
gray,
G-R-A-Y, right?
Gray. Those are the ones
Gradients.
I recommend.
Okay. Okay. And those, obviously, ladies watching, you have to buy Redken products at your salon. You cannot get it at Sally. You can't get it at Ulta. So, you need to get it from your salon.
Yeah. And the biggest way to know that, and here's why. I mean, people say that, but I just kind of just want to explain the why behind that.
Absolutely.
Redken has gone through a repackaging this year because anything that is not in the new packaging is expired. So if you go to TJ Maxx or Marshalls or you see it and it's not in the new packaging, it's the old bottles, don't buy it. It's expired. It gets sold illegally, not by Redken, but by other people who buy it. And it ends up in those third party markets for you, consumer, who you don't know better. You don't know that it's been diverted away from the company and sold. But if you buy the newest packaging and the latest packaging, you know it's fresh, you know it's real. Obviously, a professional is going to be selling that, and it's going to be guaranteed. Like if you get it and you don't like it, you can take it back. It's guaranteed. So
Interesting.
that's the big reason why. If you see old packaging, don't buy it.
Interesting. That fascinating. Lori, what will turn gray hair silver? I mean, gray hair yellow. That has come up a lot
Mm-hmm.
on silver hair foxes.
Yeah.
Some people have said sun. Some people,
Mm-hmm.
I think my flat iron will do it if I'm not careful. What
Sure.
will turn it yellow?
So let's talk about gray hair for a minute, because if
Okay.
you had truly all gray hair, right? All gray hair, right? Let's just say you had a whole head of truly gray hair, white hair or gray hair. If you went out in our Florida chlorine water, or if you're washing your hair in unfiltered water, I always recommend number one to put a nice shower head on your shower with a carbon filter. I always recommend the one on Amazon. I think on my website, lorifudens.com, I have one on there that's an Amazon one that I use. I recommend. So
Interesting. So
a
it's like
water
it's built
filter is
into the
key.
shower head. Hmm.
Yeah, and like I'm in Florida, and in Florida we got a lot of weird stuff in our water because they got to do all this weird stuff to it. But the
Chlorine,
point
what
is
have you.
that absorbs into the hair because hair is very porous. Hair has a lot of porosity like a sponge, right? And what I mean by porosity, let me just explain this. If I took a drop of water and I dropped it on this aluminum foil, right? What would happen to the water? It would run
Just going
right
to
off.
drip off. Yeah.
If I took that same water and I dropped it on my paper towel, what happens to it?
It soaks in.
It goes in. So if you
Yeah.
have porous hair from being bleached, lightened, or colored, trying to get that gray, or if you just have porous hair because of a lot of heat, maybe you have some heat damage, maybe you have some thermal situation in the hair that where you have like open pores on the outside of the hair, right? That's going to attract those chemicals from the water or the swimming pool or your sweat when you go to yoga every day and sweat like a pig like me. And that stuff comes out of our body or out of the water. And where does it go? Into the hair. And so it's a big thing. I do recommend a special clarifier. It's a detox that takes all of that off. And then you re-shampoo the clean canvas, just like if you were to refinish a floor. And you re-shampoo the clean canvas with the toning shampoo that you love or that's recommended for you. And if you have any questions, just so you, for everyone in this group, if you guys have any questions at no charge, you just reach out to me at my Instagram. I'd be happy to help you. I have people send me pictures all the time. So, and I'll recommend what I would use, what I would do, but cleaning the canvas, then putting a new coat on freshly and adding things with shine will really make that yellow go away, but it takes maintenance too.
Yep. Interesting. You brought up shine. Some of the ladies have said that they've tried this or that purple shampoo and it has dried out their hair
Oh yeah.
and
Oh my
and
gosh, that's the worst.
and
I hate
and
that.
made it not shiny. And Redken has a purple shampoo, right?
Yeah, but it's newer. I mean, the Blondage line is new. Just so you know, before
Okay.
that, Shimmering Lights was popular.
Yes.
We've had them at Sally's for years, right?
Yep.
So those companies that created all of that, but those violet toning hair color shampoos, they were extremely drying, extremely drying. I never recommended them. I had clients that used them, but then I would like recondition their hair when they would come in because of it. The blondage line, and this is, I don't get anything from you buying Redken, but here's what I'm going to tell you. The moisture, the content of the science that goes behind that purple shampoo, and the mask, the blondage shampoo and blondage mask, killer. That is a killer combination. That's my fave.
Okay. I'm just writing
So,
it down. Blondage
yeah.
shampoo and
the
mask.
blondage mask. Yeah, the mask actually has 2 times more violet pigment in it than the shampoo, the way Redken makes it, but it does none of it's drying out the hair. It makes it
Okay.
feel amazing. Like it like conditions and colors the hair at the same time softer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I love that. Ladies, I hope you're getting something out of this. I am. But one other thing I want to bring up is that, because I'll just be honest with you, Lori, I've tried to go all natural this year. Fine. I got a natural purple shampoo. I like it. It works well. Where I don't think you can go all natural, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is heat protectant.
Mm-hmm.
I use Redken Shape 11.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone into Sally and bought all natural heat protectant and turned bright yellow when I use my flat iron.
Yeah.
Ladies, I think for when you're talking heat protectant, which you need to use if you're going to use a curling iron or a flat iron on your hair,
or hot rollers or a blow dryer.
Hot rollers, I think you have to use something that is quality, not necessarily all natural. I use Iron Shape 11. Is that what you're writing? Yeah, that's what I use from Redken. And my hair doesn't turn yellow when I use it. And I think it's important.
Yeah. And Iron Shape 11 is great. It is a spray. The only thing I'll tell you is Iron Shape 11, you want to spray it. You can spray it on wet hair and then dry it in there. You can even spray a little bit of it on dry hair. I use it when I curl mine. Mm-hmm. And then do your heat curler or your hot rollers or whatever, your flat iron afterwards. Yep. Iron Shape 11 is great. And it is a heat protectant and it also gives hold.
Yes.
So I think where we have like stubborn gray hair, if it's natural gray hair growing out of the head, not artificially colored gray hair, right?
Yep.
Those are 2 different animals.
Yep.
Natural gray hair is coarse and wiry and it has thicker. It's hard to make it hold.
Yep.
You flat iron it and it's like, and it springs right back. So the Iron Shape 11 also, because it has that extra hold in it, it really does help. I use it, for all brides. I've done 5 years of New York Fashion Week. I've done all the seasons and that we use that for all of the shows. So,
and you know me, and I think some of the silver hair foxes know me. I've got curly hair. I just do. And this is totally straight. And this is how I like it. Now, I will say that I use the Iron Shape 11 on wet hair because that way, when I'm blow drying it, I'm already getting a lot of the curl out. Now, one other question, because what I have on my hair right now is Hairspray, and it is a drugstore hairspray. With the humidity in Florida, I have to have a hairspray that will hold it. Is there a Redken product that would also work instead of the cheap drugstore one I use?
So here's the thing. Like when you use a hairspray that's not the best one, let's just say that, you're going to get a coating on the hair. It'll get flaky, and when you put something on, it's going to get weird, right? So last year, Redken launched a brand new hairspray that's my favorite. It's at my station every day. It's in an all-white bottle, the first ever all-white bottle that Redken's made, and it's called Triple Pure.
Okay.
It's number 32, which is the strongest hold, but it has no perfume in it. It has no weird dyes in it. It is totally clear, and it won't decolorize your hair, and it doesn't have any perfume in it. And it's called Triple Pure 32. It's my favorite.
And you're here in Clearwater, so it works with the humidity, Lori? You promise?
Yes. Yes. And their products are, they're actually numbered, all their styling products from like 1 to 32 for strength and like control.
Okay.
This one is 32, just so you know, it's the highest one. So they have other sprays. They have an 18 I love. They've got a 12. 32 in a white can is called Triple Pure, and it is fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be
new, so you may not have even ever seen it because it's new.
No.
This past year.
And that's going to be my next purchase. I'll be traveling out to your salon this week. Okay, cool. Can you, I've seen some ladies do it and I get very, very nervous, like take a strand of their pretty silver hair and make it pink, or make it blue. I get worried it's going to stain my hair. Can
Yeah.
I do that?
Yep. So you can. And it's funny because you can. Now, if you do that and you have, again, let's talk about the difference between if you have artificial color that's been
Right.
turned gray, right?
Right.
So artificial blonde that's been colored gray, that's a totally different porosity. Okay. That's the paper towel. The
Yes.
porosity is different. If you put if you put Kool-Aid on that hair, it may not come out. You could dump a little bit of red Kool-Aid on there, it'd be there forever. The same thing if you have all natural gray hair with a very thick, coarse outer layer of hair. Like if the outer layer is very, very thick, you could use that colored shampoo and it may wash out in one shampoo,
Right.
maybe two. But I use the shampoo called watercolors.
Okay.
So when I turn my blonde hair pink, which I do sometimes, I put the watercolors in my hair, I turn it pink. It stays for about 2 or 3 shampoos and it washes out. If you're not sure, test strand it.
Thank
Do
you.
one piece. Please test strand your colored
Yeah.
shampoos. I do love watercolors, but better than that, Redken's launching a new pink conditioner this month called Color Extend Blondage, but it's a violet rose.
Okay.
And it is a pink conditioner.
Okay.
So again, anything you get, please test strand it. Because then you'll know, right? Because if it
Yeah.
doesn't come out, and then you can just like kind of hide it under
Yeah.
there.
Exactly. Exactly. Lori, couple more minutes here. What would you like to say to the ladies today? I love the Silver Hair Foxes group. I love these ladies. I found we started an Instagram account, Silver Hair Foxes, and I've just found so many ladies who are just wanting, and I feel bad, Lori, because you're a Redken specialist. You do the color,
It's
but there's
okay.
I appreciate that because there's so many ladies that just don't want to do the color anymore. As you were saying, I had these exceptionally white roots every 3 weeks, pouring dye on, and yeah.
Here's
Anyway,
the thing. I feel like if there's a divide between a professional hairstylist and the person who wants to go natural, or I don't know who has that feeling. I don't know if it's the stylist or the clients. But a couple things that I would say, because I love your group. I've been in your group. I've helped some people in the group. Maybe I've answered your question. I don't know. But here's the thing, like, I don't want you to feel like there should be a divide. You should get a professional to help you through a process like that. Even if you want to be natural, that's okay. I mean, we are not you're going to be the anti-natural gray people. So you can find a stylist who will gel with you for sure. And I feel like if you don't do that, you might make a wrong turn here or there that could be avoided, right? Because
yep,
the hairstylists, all are people pleasers. We want to make people happy, right? That's why we do what we do. We're people pleasers. So we want to help the stylist, or we want to help the clients who need the help. Now, whether it's somebody transitioning to white hair, that's a hard transition. It's tough. My client, her name is Adele, and I don't know if she's in this group, but she probably wouldn't mind me telling you that. Like we talked about it for 3 years, and when she finally did it, she was like, okay, she was scared to death. And when it grew out, and we kept trimming it. We cut a little shorter each time, and we would gloss or glaze or tone her hair and get the yellow off of it as it needed. She was so scared, and she got to the end of her journey and loved it so much. She is so happy. And Adele would tell you, like, she is like the happiest ever, and everybody gives her compliments. Now, not everybody does that. Some people get to the end of their journey and they go, no, I don't like the way it looks. I feel like it's aging and I'm going to go back. And
yep.
some people, they do go back, and that's okay too. That's the thing, is
And
it's hair,
yep,
right?
and that's what I have said so many times on Silver Hair Foxes. There've been some people on there and they go, "Listen, I tried. I'm going to cave. I'm going to die." And here's the thing, Lori, this is what I tell them. If you don't like what you see in the mirror, you should change it. And there's absolutely no judgment from the admins in this group. And Lori, with her beautiful blonde, chestnutty hair, is a Silver Hair Fox, and she's a member of our group, and that's just fine. And Lori Fudens, thank you so much for being willing to be on the video live today. I'm definitely
Thank
going to
you.
have you back. And you can see, if you're watching, you can see up at the top where it says at Lori Fudens _Redken. You can find her on Instagram, and she posts wonderful pictures all the time. This video did go live on YouTube. It is on our Silver Hair Foxes channel. Join the group, invite your friends. And Lori, you're wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I hope it helped out and answer any questions today from your group. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ask me anything you need later.
Awesome.